Okay, Cara, we are live. I'm just letting my
Yay.
Facebook load. I've sent a message to all our moms. Cara is back. We're the 20th mom, and we went crazy with that technical stuff, but we still did live on Instagram. You're the only
Okay.
mom Instagram live for me. Oh, that was just, I was waiting. I've not been able to figure this out, Cara. And there is this one film that's going to be made at the beginning of every interview. I say, I don't know how to fix this. So there's going to be different things that I'm saying, and I'm going to make a film out of it. Good evening,
You're
everyone. We have Cara, my coach, and I miss her. We had there's so many special things with Cara that I have experienced, and of course also experienced the technical glitch when we went crazy. But what I totally loved about her, and she of course taught me how you receive and how you show up for others, because during that time it was 45 minutes. I was trying, she was trying, we kept on trying, and like, forget it, let's go to Instagram, and we will still do it, and we still did a beautiful interview. So Cara, thanks for teaching that, and you had to be back because Facebook is our space, and Cara is back. Thank you for coming back, Cara. I totally
Thank
love
you.
you, and go ahead and reintroduce yourself
So
now, Cara.
so yes, thank you, Shika. And it is funny because even something as small as, I mean, it's not small, but it is small in the big grand scheme of things, as glitches on social media, even the other day when it all went down. It's a good reminder that like nothing is that serious, really. Nothing is really that serious. And and to that, so I'm a feminine energy business coach, and really my mission in life is to create an army of love soldiers and women who understand how to get out of their heads into their hearts. And that's part of being in your heart, is going with the flow when things don't really work. And I mean, thank you for giving me some credit there, but it's you, right? Like watching you go through the flow of all of this from the beginning, because now you're more than halfway through. When we first talked, you were just in the beginning of it. And it's beautiful to witness women who come in with the sort of hunter mindset and then soften, because they realize when they soften, that's how they change the world. They're not, no one's changing the world in their head. No one. And so I just want to give you like, snaps for that, because it's been incredible watching you turn into this massive influencer, massive leader in this area. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. So thank you for having me.
Thanks, and means a lot. And thanks for reminding me the word hunter mode. And I'd forgotten that those two words. And what's happening is that when mothers come in here, they actually come in thinking they're in this interview here, and actually exit from here as a very feminine. Because a lot of mothers have said we're saying things like right in the middle of the interview when they're speaking, they're like, "What are we speaking? We've never spoken about it ever in our life before, and we're speaking
Mhm.
about it first time." And somehow this has become a very safe place for moms, and I totally am blessed that it has, and mothers can express. So thanks for reminding the audience as well. Yes, we come into a hunter mode, we think we're achieving, we're coming in an interview, we are getting in, yeah, we are, we're getting audience, we're getting everything.
Mhm.
But when it flows, because feminine energy has that, right? When it draws you in, then it draws you
Mhm.
in fully, it draws you in,
Yep.
and it surrounds you, and you have no other option but to put your hand
Yeah.
down and that fine, we're all yours, and let's go ahead. So thank you for bringing that in me. Of course, I think I always thought I was very feminine and everything, and by the time I reached your coaching sessions, I was struggling here and there as well. You opened that up in me, and very soon this started. So thanks for bringing that in me, and many people around. Some of us from the coaching session are also here, and we can see them
Mhm.
shining. All of them are shining. So thanks, Kara, for being here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start your journey, because I also invited you here in this book, because I see a nurturer, I see this mother, I see, this very earthy feeling when you are with your kids, around your kids, whatever you speak
Mhm.
about them. I still see that mother who is still with them and not
Mhm.
with them. Everything is happening. So let's talk about you being a mom. Let's talk about that first.
Yeah. So I have four daughters. The oldest is my stepdaughter. She's 34. And then I have a 24-year-old, 20-year-old, and 12-year-old, all girls. And it's a fascinating, so one of the things they don't tell you when you're a mom, and I guarantee every single mom will relate to this, is that as soon as you have a child, your mind is no longer your own ever again. And what I mean by that is you're always in, I'm even as I'm talking, I'm thinking of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking of them over here in my heart, but they're always there. And I was a mom when I was young. I came out of, and part of my story is this feeling of belonging, and motherhood has given me that for sure. But I had my first kid when I got pregnant when I was 19. I was a single mom by the time I was 20, 21. And I grew up in this environment at home, and my parents did their best. They didn't know what they didn't know. Both had addiction issues, both had abuse issues, all that type of thing. For me, motherhood was something scary. I was like, am I going to do what my parents did? And the moment my firstborn came out, Sydney, who's 24 now, I was like, I remember looking at her and I just thought, there's like, and I'm gonna get emotional here, of course, but there's just no way I could talk to her or feel about her the way that my mom felt about her. I had this whole story. And it really did. Like, I really opened up to that. And I thought, holy shit, like, how could parents be the way they are to their kids? And now as an adult looking back, I can see why my mom was very, very, very traumatized. That's why she couldn't. That's why she didn't. But for me as a mother, it's like, you know, I relish in all the moments. It's exhausting, even as having adult children. It's almost more exhausting, right? Because they've grown to be your friends and they ask you a jillion questions, and it's beautiful. But I don't think that we're totally honest about motherhood. I think that we have this idea that it's all bliss and that it's all like, if you're not smiling with an apron around your waist, then you're a terrible mother. And that's just not true. I love motherhood, but it's a tough job. And my girls are my little tribe now. Like they're, one's 12 and she's on her way to being grown up, but it's a beautiful, beautiful experience. But I think really sincerely, and part of why I love this movement that you're doing is because we need honesty about motherhood. Like, I was Cara first. You were Shika first. We weren't mom. We didn't come out as mothers. And so I think the beautiful part, and just to like kind of lean into what you're doing, it's like, I lost myself along the way, like most moms do. And you're helping us find ourselves again in the very most simple way. Like, it's not, we don't have to spend, months and months in a program. Like, instantly, by taking a self-portrait and learning how to love what I'm seeing on the other end of it, it's like, I'm getting to know who I am again. I'm like, it's like you're dating yourself again. And yeah, and I know I kind of went off on a tangent, but I just think it's important to talk about how, you
Yes,
know,
it is.
we're who we are first. And being a mom is the greatest job, but it's the hardest job, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. But I love, you are helping me rediscover me, and maybe for the first time, because I was a mother so young. And
We
that's a
forget.
beautiful gift.
We forget that. We forget what this is. And recently, one of the moms were here, and she was telling me that this is even more. Of course, I said 100 days, 100 moms, 100 interviews, and now what's happening is moms are frozen. Some of us, like, some of us are totally frozen because what
Mhm.
do we say? Because what do we do? What are we? Who are we? What is it? Like, it sounded all amazing and a very superstarish
Right.
thing to come into an interview and then say, this is what it is, and it's amazing, and talk about it.
Right.
The tough part is the self-portrait. The tough part is because the
Mhm.
mom said, you're telling us to declare forever in a book that this is who I am. This is a
Right.
declaration you're telling us to do about us. And we need to know that declaration that we're doing. And the scary
Yep.
part about self-portrait, now that I'm 57 moms down, I'm realizing with everybody, the scary part is that when we speak, Cara, when we speak, and like, we're very fluid about it. So we can go on and on. We can go here, we can go there, we can go up, we can go down, we can go. When we take a picture, it's static. And that's
Mhm.
like static, and that's there, and that's printed in a book. That's
Right.
scary because
Yep.
even more scary to look in the mirror, because there are levels, right? There's some mothers here or coaches who are doing some mirror work. And
Mhm.
I was having a discussion with them, and I was telling them that yes, Talk writing, yes, again, it can go very fluid. I think the last of the thing is talking. We can talk, 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 talk. Then writing gets a little more serious. Then
Mm-hmm.
the mirror work gets even more serious. And
Yep.
then there's this one self-portrait, which is this one frame, this one thing in which I'm telling you, tell your story in that one frame who you are. And that's the
Right.
scary part that's developed in this 57 moms interview, that it's scary to make that declaration that this is who I am. So the discovery has to come from here till here,
Right.
without losing your path and then doing it. So yes, it's a very tough, I also didn't realize it. That's a
Yep.
very tough thing.
And I think it, like, one of the things, I'm a 45-year-old mom now, and one of the things that I've really started to discover is this idea, like, mothers wear motherhood like a martyr. And the danger of that is that at some point, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Wild with Reese Witherspoon, where she hikes across the Pacific Coast Trail, or I think that's the PCT. And she goes like 1,000 miles. Okay. Like, she puts a backpack on and she just starts walking because her mother passed.
I think I remember seeing it years back.
Yeah. And I've watched it a few times in the last couple of months, and it really, really hit home. And I've been thinking about you and I having our conversation again after watching this movie. And it's interesting because where I was at the 20th interview and where I'm at the almost 60th, I'm even different.
Even I
And
am. I'm different in these like
excuse
things
me.
have changed, and that's exactly what I was thinking when I started the interview. That the Cara, so much has changed for Cara from there till
Mhm,
here.
totally. And so I'm watching this movie, and her mother, she's Laura Dern plays the actor, that's her mom, and she dies when she's my age of cancer. And when when she was diagnosed, she's driving in the car with Reese, and she said, I haven't even lived. Like, I've been mother, I've been wife, I've not even been myself yet. And I'm like, that hit home for me because my mom passed when she was 59. Same thing though. She was so consumed with her pain that she didn't look up to see there was a different way to live. And I really, I really want to impress upon the women and the mothers watching this and the men who have wives and whatever. It's not a bad thing. We have to stop criticizing mothers for wanting to be individuals, because if we are not individuals and we are not taking care of ourselves, we will get sick and we could die, or whatever the thing is. And that's what I talk about feminine energy. Like, if you're in hustle mode all the time, even as a mother, mothers are the most masculine energy beings out there right now by a long shot. And they think, no, but I'm a mom. And no, and that's where my journey began in the Love Soldier movement, in She's the Owner, and all of it was, I started talking to my children like they were in my company, like they were employees. And I was like, this doesn't feel good, and I'm not getting the response I want from them. So what's the problem? Well, I'm talking to them like I'm a military guy. And it just, like, it feels acidic in the body when you are always showing up in this masculine energy way. And a feminine energy being in motherhood, that's a game changer, because you teach your daughters how to be in flow. You teach your sons how to be in flow. You're not, it's not all about a task list. It's not like get this shit done all the time. It can't be. And so this whole idea of not allowing for us to just chill and, like, say to your kid, even if they're 3, I need some time, go watch TV, or here, let me, like, that obsession to be on is the masculine energy. And it's making moms sick, and it's making them sick younger and younger and younger, whether it's, gut issues, leaky gut issues, digestion issues, cancers, skin issue, all of the things. It really boils down to this obsession with being in the masculine and just always getting shit done, always getting shit done. And it's like, it's we are not powerful in that way. We are powerful when we receive. We are powerful when we sit back, when we just listen, and when we take slow, just take stock of what's happening. And there's, Shika, I always talk about in business, you have to have hunter mode for women in business, no question. But you have to be able to turn that off when you shut your computer down for the day and you go and be with your family or your husband. And I mean, that's a whole other situation, but Yeah. So I wanted to bring light to that because I think it's
Oh,
critical to
absolutely,
acknowledge it.
absolutely, absolutely. And two things here, Kara, and of course things have come. I'm glad you're back because this the two things I'm going to talk to you about is also go. I just said I was like, oh, now Kara's going to listen to this and she is going to really be on another thing. So anyway, one story which I'm trying to get their mom here. Louise, I think I heard a story, and it stayed with me, Kara. That story of what you're talking about, not being able to speak, to keep down, to not acknowledge it. And she has a jaw story where she had a tumor
Mm.
in her jaw, and her jaw had to be taken out. Did I tell you about it?
Nope. But it's, yep,
So
I believe it.
yeah, so her jaw like was told that it was a tumor, and this tumor had to be taken out. And then when she was sitting in the hospital with this cotton in her mouth and stitches all over here, she was just thinking, what happened? How have I reached here? And when she, of
Mm.
course, dig deep, and I don't know how it, I don't remember exactly, but she realized that when she was a kid, she was called a very sensitive child. She was bullied by her sister, saying that you cry too much, you're too sensitive, you're
Yep.
too this thing, you're too that thing. And as she was growing, she started to keep not to be sensitive, tried to keep things inside, what was her natural, the feminine, whatever. And the doctors told her that she used to clench her jaw too much, and that clinching led to that tumor. Can you
Wow.
imagine an emotion like that? An emotion like that. And there are mothers here who've been given a fragile comment at a very young age and just had miscarriages after miscarriages after miscarriages because somebody commented about the
Hmm.
pregnancy before
Hmm.
marriage. And there are mothers who have children here, um, who were teenage moms and who ended up, their children being labeled in some countries. I don't want to
Hmm.
name it. We will discover these interviews because they were before marriage, and the children are given special names because you're before
Hmm.
marriage. These are the stories that are coming out here, Kara.
Yep.
And this is all what you're talking about: the holding back, the feminine energy, the tumor coming in, the being unwell, and all these things happen to the extent that you don't believe you can even carry a child and keep it
Hmm.
inside, and miscarriages happen. And
My my thyroid is broken, and I was told I talk too much. I was told if I would just shut up and pay attention, I would do a lot better in school. And I got a thyroid disease right in my throat chakra,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
it's true. Like it's it's not a it's and I love that you're bringing like that's a severe the jaw, like that's a severe example, but it's what happens. And
yeah.
and then like, between your 20s and 40s as a mother, it can be really like you really have to pay attention to what are you suppressing? What are, I have no gallbladder, okay? Because I carried anger around, and anger will affect the liver affects the gallbladder.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. So
That's
yeah.
what that mom said, that, my sensitivity was my superpower. And now she's a coach
Right.
and she uses her sensitivity for superpower. And that was a superpower which was being told to keep quiet because that's your superpower. As I was a kid, I've always been told that you reach out to people too fast, you
Right.
are interested in other people's problem too much. Why are you giving yourself too much? That's how people take advantage of you and all that, all that, all that. And
And
I
now
was
look at you.
look at this. This is becoming because of that. And the jaw story struggled me because I had four molars here which went off after my pregnancy. Like once I delivered the baby,
Hmm.
and when I heard her story, my jaw started hurting here, Kara. When I was hearing her, he
Wow.
started hurting. And the doctors told me you have no cavity, I have no understanding. Why are your teeth getting so weak? It's unbelievable what it is. And I know it in my gut. It's because I knew it in the first year because my mother came back to me, the whole episodes came back to me, and I wanted to keep quiet and be this good person so that nobody
Yep.
feels that, the family doesn't feel that I was feeling all these emotions. And my mother is back into my system. I had to keep shut. And that's how I lost these molars. And when she
Wow.
spoke
Yep.
about it, I'm like, and this is all real.
Yep.
And second thing I wanted to tell you about, which is very beautiful, and since I'm speaking about it and more I'm speaking about it, it's just shocking the hell out of me that what am I speaking, and I'm pinching myself. What the hell is wrong with you, woman? What is you doing? And in Debbie's interview, she's interviewing me and she's understanding what is unleashing through this project, and she interviewed me, and then I started speaking spontaneously as usual, and I started saying that The pulse that I'm talking about of the mother, and I know you will visualize this very beautifully, is not the pulse of a human mom. This is the pulse from the bee to the universe that's in pain. And then I said that that bee whose eggs we are, destroying by taking the honey away, to the universe where we're destroying the outer layer, the mother earth. This whole pulse is all joined together, from bee to the deer, to the tiger, to the human, to the outer layer. And I'm getting goosebumps telling you this. And there's this pulse I can see very clearly, and I'm just started to think that this pulse is so unhappy because the bee doesn't have the place to lay eggs. The deer doesn't have the place to go safe in forest to get the kids out. The tiger doesn't have it. The bird doesn't have it. The mother doesn't have it. There is no safe place for the mother. And then what happened, a step further went in another conversation, Cara, for me. And I just said, did you know, like, I don't know how it came out of me. And I said to that mom, did you know that we are the oldest pulse on the surface of this universe? It was even there before dinosaurs. The pulse I'm talking was there even before dinosaurs. That's the pulse we've touched. That's the pulse we have destroyed. And if this pulse does not come in alignment again, we are not going to get better. The earth will, we will, from every level, we will keep throwing out our kids, the next generation, with so much pain, so much frustration, that they will only multiply it. That's the power of creator. What she creates multiplies. Whatever she
Yep.
creates, it multiplies. Whether it's a bee or whether, don't you think the bee is crying when she sees this whole pesticide and millions of her soldiers dead? And I always call them dead bodies. I said, these are dead bodies. What are you doing? You've just sprayed it, and to take the honey, all the bees are dead. These are dead bodies of the. And I've always felt very strongly about it. And my family sometimes think that I'm overreacting. What do you want the beehive to be right in the balcony? I said, yes, I want, because who's giving you authority to kill these millions of, just because they decided to come to your house and visit your house and think that your house is a safe place, Cara, for
Right.
laying their eggs? Who are you to destroy it and remove it because of your fear? And if
Right.
that bee is upset, and that deer is upset, and that dog is upset, and the cat mother is upset, I've had cats laying some kittens here near my cartons, and because there were some cartons, she didn't have a safe place. She laid there. The male cat came, took the. This is the third time she's pregnant, and she doesn't have a
Woo!
safe place to. Every time her kittens are eaten.
She needs to go home at night. Third time pregnant.
Are taken away by somebody or the other because she doesn't have a safe place
Right.
to. What do you think of her pulse? What do you think of her pulse that she doesn't have a place to, everything is urbanized and she doesn't have a place to have babies? And she's trying. In a 3 months' time, it's the third time she's pregnant, and again she's gone to somebody's store and she's had kittens. And now I'm sitting there and I said, did you know that this pulse was older than the dinosaurs? It was even before the dinosaurs were there. And I
Right.
was like, what are you talking about? And I could see this string, Cara, and I see it
Mhm.
even more clearly, because the creator's pulse, and we are so lucky as women to be chosen to be part of that pulse. We were given
Yep.
responsibility to take care of this pulse, and we are contributing to destroy it. So time has come to rise, to little bit shake what's happening, bring that awareness,
Yep.
acknowledge the pulse, and align everything so that we all can survive in the long run.
And
So I think that's where this project is taking us, and I wanted to share it
I
with the world.
love you, and I love everything you just said. Like, and it's making me emotional because I feel exactly the same about, like, that's oneness, what you're talking about. And if we don't get our shit together quick,
Yes.
it's going to be too late. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, I'm not,
No, no,
I
neither
say
am
what's
I.
on my heart. And that's literally how I feel about teaching each other how to go in and get connected to it's a perfect analogy, to get connected back to that pulse of feminine divinity, because that is the only way we're going to save it. That is the only way. Like, the men are causing all, and not all men. Let me be clear. It's not all men causing problems, but the problems that are being caused are by men predominantly, because they're in their hunter mode. They're not getting it. And if we don't connect to oneness, like, women have to step up. And I have to say, 5 years ago, I didn't think that we were. There was a lot of, I talk about this in my coaching, where a lot of this like toxic positivity, but toxic, queendom, right? Oh, my queen and all this shit. And then they'd go behind the back and talk about the girl anyway. And that's how it was forever. And I feel like finally the last 2 years, we are sincerely, and maybe that's just the women that I have in my orbit, but I feel like we are sincerely doing everything we need to help each other. And it's not for show, it's not lip service, it's genuine. And I mean, it's a big job we have ahead of us, but we're the only ones that can do it, because it's mother who's going to bring everything back. Mother is going to bring it back, not father. Mother. Yeah.
She's the oldest pulse.
Yeah.
When you see, even like dinosaur had a mom.
Yeah.
And before that, whatever existed had a mom. And the mom was there whenever whatever existed before that. So the mom was always there and the pulse was always there. And that pulse is what was taking things ahead. And till we like now we don't even know if it exists, because now some people come and ask me, is it worth it to have children? So we've reached that point of frustration that, and not to judge anybody. Now, very young women are asking me that, is it worth it to have children? Because the sadness has reached so much that what was a natural thing for us, what was something that we would like have babies and move on, or protect or not protect, or do, like if you see in nature, the whole, like one of my pediatrician had told me when I had Shaurya, the older one, that he was a 3-generation pediatrician, and I was asking too many questions, and he's like, can I tell you one thing today? That when you're born, the whole encyclopedia is downloaded onto you. Like, when you become a mom, the whole encyclopedia is download exactly what you need to do with a child.
Yep.
If you align to that encyclopedia, you don't even need to come to me, or you need to come to me immediately when you know your child is sick or not sick. You don't have to ask or see the symptoms or read any books. And that had took me to the point that, yes, I think the bear knows to go in hibernation for 6 months. The bear doesn't need to be told. The octopus mom, that octopus, when they mate, after that, the octopus, is again, Octopus Teacher is one of the beautiful movies everybody should watch. It's a very emotional movie. And this is octopus mom who's so amazing, and she fools the shark every time, and she's very amazing, very intelligent, that particular octopus. And she's a happy-go-lucky octopus till she mated, and when she became a mom, she stays there with those eggs, everything, till the time they're grown up and they leave, and she doesn't eat till that time. And that's her last day. When they all leave, she slides down because she's too weak.
Right.
And the same shark she had,
the
same shark that she had fooled just a few days back. We're riding on top of the shark. It's all in the film that she's riding.
I gotta watch this.
Yeah, she's riding the shark and she's fooling the shark. But when she became a mom, she slips down. The same shark comes, grabs her and takes her away. But she knew what she had to do. Like nobody told her, and she gave in to what was meant for her. And that's the end. Once once the octopus is a mother, that's her last. She stays there, doesn't eat, and then she's too weak, and then she's taken by piece by everybody. And it's a beautiful movie. And
I have to watch that for sure.
Everybody should watch it, because when we're talking about this mother pulse, what are we forgetting? What are we forgetting? Like every mother knows.
Well, you're forgetting your intuition.
Yes.
You're forgetting your feminine intuition, and people, like, and this is not a let's talk shit about guys, because they're wonderful. We need them. But every person who has been born has come through one of us. And we have an innate intuition about all of it. All of it.
Yes.
All of it.
Yes.
And society and conditioning and all of the things, eventually sort of beat it out of us, not physically some of the time, but a lot of times just, you just think, oh, no one's listening to my intuition right now, so it must be wrong. No one's listening to me being thoughtful or nurturing, so it must be wrong. I can't be vulnerable because nobody wants to hear it. I must be wrong. I must not be feminine energy. I must not, but intuition is like the strongest possible guide that a woman has. And it's never effing wrong. Ever. Like ever. You know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, never.
sometimes you follow it and sometimes you don't. And sometimes the universe will give you a lesson as to why you should have followed it. But even in my business, I had a thing at the start of my other company. And I knew from the very moment I started engaging in a conversation with this potential partner that it was a bad idea. And it ended up being a bad idea. But motherhood is the best, like the women have intuition, but I think when you become a mom, it's a whole other level.
Oh,
Whole
yes.
other
Oh,
level.
yes. Oh, totally. And I'm realizing it more and more the more mothers I'm meeting now, Cara. And I started to dissolve all judgments as well, because I started
Yeah.
calling them just another shade. Like 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 before this, I still had some judgments that this is right, this is not right. And now I meet a mother, and I'm like, this is just another shade. This is just another shade of a mom,
Yeah.
and these are like good shades of mothers. And if we can just, even if these shades align themselves with their intuition or their purpose, so much good work is going to be done, because each of
Yep.
them who's coming in this particular book have 1 million lives, this many lives we want to impact. These, everyone has a purpose. And then I'm telling
Yep.
people that, who is saying that women don't have any, like mothers don't have any purpose, or they don't have any dreams, or they don't have anything left? They are were coming out and saying, these many, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do,
Yeah.
these many people I want to impact. And all of them have dreams, and 100 will multiply, because through them they will reach. And that's why I'm encouraging in this group to meet more, to engage more, to interview each other, to share each other's cause, because
Yep.
that's where the movement will come. And I honestly told somebody in an interview, I was talking again to a mother, and she was just like, so what's your plan with it? So I said, if I tell you, then all of you will just run away from here if you know my plan, because they're like, what is she talking about? But let me tell the plan. My plan is to make this community of 100 moms and leave with the book,
Mhm.
because the book is going to get um, what is going to get, and it has a very big purpose to do. These moms are going to mingle and do the purpose of spreading the message, doing whatever, and mingling with each other. That I'll make sure of, that all of them, by the time they leave, all 100 know each other, and they know each other like sisters, like you talk about love soldier, whatever it takes for them to introduce each other to each other's countries and bring this all together. But I will leave with the book, because the book will be the gist of what's happening, and it has a bigger purpose. And I need to reach to the pulse of the bee and the universe. So I have a bigger job to do. When I talk like this, people are like, what is she talking about? She's talking crazy stuff. And they've been telling me that nobody will
Well,
believe her.
I don't think that it's crazy. I can see it. I
That's
can
why
see it
I'm saying
all
to you,
already.
saying it in the interview with you, that I will leave with this book, and I will make this book reach the point, the charity that it's introduced. I'm introducing it to the place it needs commercially. Also, it needs to reach a place to understand what these stories are. And by that time, my whole hope is that these mothers would have become sisters. So when I come back and say, this is what we did with the book, these mothers are all having these stages and opportunities to say, we are together, and so much change is happening. And then I will move on to the bee mother, and then I'll move on to the universe mother. I don't know which mother I'll move on to, but this pulse is going to get definitely acknowledged, because it's too arrogant to say, oh, I'm going to fix it. I can't. But I can put the attention there, that this pulse exists, and this
Yep.
pulse has to start being acknowledged first, that it is reality from the dinosaurs' time. It was there, now it's weak. Like that octopus mom, we don't let it just die and be taken
Right.
away and
Yep.
apart.
Well,
So what
I'm here for it, sister. I'm right
uh,
there with you.
I know, and thank you so much for that, Cara. And all these interviews also will become podcasts, and I'm taking all the mothers into podcasts soon, and then re-interviewing them, and after the book and after the individually, this is the content for next 2 years. Just see each of them rise through this
Yeah.
project. So Cara, what's the plan? What's the plan with Cara now? And she has moved from uh, Cara at the 20th mom to the, now I just interviewed in the morning, of 57th mom. Where is Cara, and where is she going?
Yeah, it's interesting. I've over the last couple of months, I've come to realize that I'm a teacher more than I am a coach.
Wow.
And for me, what that looks like is writing a book, and I'm doing it immediately. I'm doing the outline this week, because I love to coach. You know, I love to coach, but I'm not. I need to. I feel like just like you, we need a larger audience because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And so for me, I'm moving into teacher where, you know, I'm writing the book, I'm continuing with my podcast, but I'm going to really start like screaming it at the top of my lungs that women need to like hear this message, get into our hearts, get connected to the pulse. I love that because that's exactly like I just sort of feel like I want to bring this giant community of women together so we can just sort of sit at a table and say, okay, how are we going to actually fix this? Like it's time for us to make a dent here. And it's not more to-do lists. It's how do we get connected to the pulse, to the oneness. So a book is definitely on its way. And I'm going to continue with creating my membership group for the STO brand, because women in business, like here's the reality: we need to make money if we want to
Yes.
have impact. Like we
Yes.
can say all day you don't need to have money to make impact, but you and I both know that's BS. You do need money. We need money to be able to share. We need money to be able to donate to women who can't do what we're doing. So business is still the top priority, but I'm shifting into teacher and less coach because it just needs to happen. I feel like I can reach more women this way, and I'm excited about it. I'm nervous about it though, because I have fought this part of the business for a long time because I was uncomfortable with being out there, but now I like it's like when you see an accident, you have no choice but to go and help. That's how I'm feeling. I have no choice anymore. We need to just do this. We need to stop talking about it and just do it. So that's the plan for the next little while. And yeah, I'm excited and nervous and
Oh,
overwhelmed. And you've
you
given me a lot more passion again this morning, which is beautiful. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
it's also you, Kara. I told you that when you will come into, you know, I think my focus has gone off. As a photographer, I always see the focus. Anyway, but it's you as well, Kara, because I know that when you step up with align yourself with what your intuition is, you always shine. And I think that's what happens to everybody who know in their gut where they've reached, and that's the confidence. With what like there are times I was coughing here and I was feeling so unwell, and now I feel okay. And people were saying that we feel bad that you're coughing. I'm like, no, it's on mute. You go on. I'm sitting here. I'm going to keep carrying on because
Yeah.
you have to keep moving forward with whatever's happening because
Yeah.
you know what you're doing, and I know
Right.
that you know what you're doing very clearly. Even if you think you're nervous, overwhelmed, whatever, I know, Kara, that you're doing. And when you were talking, I don't know, have you seen that movie Avatar? Um,
Mhm.
with is it Avatar?
Yeah.
Yes, the
Yep.
blue
Yep.
one. I just saw a forest when we were talking, and there's a lot of people getting collected
Mm.
together. When you were talking, that a lot of us have to get together and talk about it and say,
Yep.
time to straight away talk on the table that what's happening. And
Yep.
that's exactly what I thought that you were talking about. And I promise that this mission will bring your thing ahead as well, because I'm very connected to
Beautiful.
you and to many, many women. But I will take the book and leave. I don't know where I'll leave. But if I stay here and just keep doing this, it'll not reach where it's meant to.
No,
So,
and you know, I always talk about the mountain. Like you're in the we just you and people like leaders, right? Women who are leading. We have to take the book and leave. We have to take the thing and keep going because we have to get to the top to be able to look down at all our sisters and say it's safe, you can come up. So
yes.
it's I love that you've got that because that's
Get it.
perfect.
Like, oh my God, like, see, again, you've given me another thing. Yes. And so it started like this. So I started seeing when I started my pillars, and I told my pillars that I'm not in any of the pillars group because I said, I don't want to
Mm.
come there. You all need to create your own thing. That was
Yep.
my vision. That's why I'm in none of the groups where pillars. Total trust on them. They're going to take this ahead. they're going to mingle, they're going to meet. The editing team, total trust on them. They're going to edit the story. And Cara, look at the love. When I go to the editing team and I speak to them, both Sumitra and Elizabeth, they're like, don't be like that parent. They were telling me, don't be like that parent that if mama says no, then the daddy says yes, and both of us have to say the same thing. So I'm like,
Right.
fine. Look at the charge they've taken. Like, because
Yep.
if somebody's edits are not accepted, they're like, we'll deal with it, we'll figure it out, we will convince them, we'll get the story, we'll get the thread, we'll get everything. And that all being involved, taking the charge, like what you're talking about, taking the front, and then I actually made me smile, because it made me smile when both of them said it, that there will be people coming to you and saying, we don't agree, and we still to go to Shikha, but then it's like that parent who, if
Yeah.
one chocolate is denied, then you go to the other. So I said, fine, I'm with you in the same place. You're the in charge. So for me, it's becoming so beautiful that people are owning this already as their own thing. And I keep saying that everybody says you need a lot of budgets to do this, you need money to do this, you need so much to do it. It's not that at all. All you
No.
need is your intuition and a message that is very clear and that
Yep.
aligns with the pulse. And then
Yep.
everybody says, because everybody knows the pulse, and then they know that it's the truth, and then they come in trusting it. And I somehow
Right.
also saw very crazy things happen to me, Cara. I'm sitting here and I'm like, I see this vision that each mom is also being paid a lot of money for doing. I don't know what I'm doing with them, but I see a lot of money being transferred to these parents. Oh, you did this, and this is where it came from, and everything will also financially align itself.
Mhm.
That's why I don't want any sponsors. That's the hunter mode, that the sponsor comes in and puts his logo and puts the thing, and
Right.
everybody says it's a limiting belief, but I know it's not. I know when that will come in what we are creating, because when somebody gives you money, then you owe an explanation to
Just
them.
remember to take a piece of the pie for yourself, young lady.
I will. I will be one of the moms, so I'll keep coming back for sure. I am one of the
Okay,
mothers.
good.
And but the blessing is that people like you, people like Lucy, people like Devi, there are so many people who are sending me. Can you imagine? I've been gifted things for self-care, like courses, 3-minute courses, so that if you don't have time, do this. I get
Yeah.
messages, people come in and they say, I want to talk to you, you're not taking care of yourself, you know that
Yep.
you're going too hard on yourself. And I'm like, yes, I know. So there are people who are also like
You have
taking
a
care.
big sisterhood around you, definitely.
Yes, and it's coming so quickly. It's
I
coming
know.
so
Well,
quickly.
you have to realize, like, I think it's important, and this could be me coaching you, but I would love for you to invite you today to sit down and write out where you started, even when you and I started, to where you are today, and all of the stuff that you've done, so that you can write it out and you can look at it properly, because you've come completely into yourself since we started working together. Like, you weren't sure, and like you it's mind blowing. Like, it's like you were given permission, and then you did the thing, and now look, like, it's incredible what you're doing. So
Switched on the
amazing.
light for me, Tara. You just switched on the light and see, hey girl, just see what it
Thank
is.
you.
And I was just sitting thinking that all this dark and things are not moving and things are not. You just
Mhm.
switched on the light and you just showed me what you're sitting on, and just encouraged
And
me
you
to.
ran with it, like,
That's
it's
beautiful.
beautiful.
Thank you for that. And of course, Sydney is working very excitedly on the website, and she's beautifully working. So I have your guidance coming through her as well. I know
Yeah,
all of
my
the
mini
support.
me.
She's amazing as well.
Aw.
And Sydney is Cara's daughter, and she
She's
is
my
like,
24-year-old, and
yeah.
she's launched her own media company, and I'm like, I just sit
What is
back
she
and
doing?
because,
Yeah.
but like, if you'd known her 2 years ago or a year ago, there's no way. Like, and this is part of like motherhood, right? It's like she still gets fearful, but she powers through it now, and she gets guidance from all of us. She has a big sisterhood in our group, and it's just extraordinary, because she wants to work with companies that are part of the pulse. That,
Yes.
like, when you say that, that's what Sydney wants. She wants to work with companies that are trying to fix the pulse for the environment, for other women, for other people. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we are teaching these women, these young women, about how to get back in alignment so we can all get back together and start really shifting how this whole world operates. And that's why she's so excited, because of your mission, right? If you, and you know that,
Yes,
I mean, she's mission driven too, right? So yeah.
look at what's coming out, even in, photography wise, like her images. I'm like, Sydney, what are you doing? And I keep telling her that what you post, like Sydney Stark, like the
Dark
one picture of the
media.
horse, yeah, and the horse and everything, the way you're doing it. I wish my book unfolds with that quality of like
Wow.
declaration of the word,
Yeah.
that every mother can declare herself like that, powerful visuals. So
Yeah.
compliments to her as well. But let's talk. Like I know you're talking about toxic positivity, and
Yep.
let's talk about that before you go into your podcast, because that's something you really feel like talking about, and it happens to mothers as well, and that will bring some
Oh,
light
big
to a lot.
time.
Yeah, it happens to mothers as well.
So, as you know, I've recently left a 22-year marriage, well, 20-year marriage, but 22-year relationship from my ex-husband, Ken, who I love dearly. And he's the father of two of my children and of the other two as well, right? And so I've moved into a new condo, and it's a lot smaller than I'm used to. And one of the things, there's this epidemic, I'll call it, of toxic positivity. And I know that's a term people are using often, but for me, what it is especially when it comes to parents or mothers, and especially when it comes to coaches, we and I've done it where I'm like, oh, let's just see the silver lining in this. Let me just find the good in this. And sometimes you don't have to do that, because that's more detrimental than, like, so what that looks like, and I've talked about this in my coaching, it's like what that looks like is you just trying to jump over the pain and jump over the shitty things that are happening instead of going through it. I have to go through this. If I don't go through it, it will hang on like some type of barnacle off the sea, and it will not come off of me until I take it off and I look at it and I address it. And this idea that women, especially mothers, cannot say, holy shit, my kids are pissing me off today. And I can say that and I don't feel a way about it. And I don't feel a way about it because I love those kids to death.
Yeah.
But they sometimes piss me off. Sometimes they act like selfish assholes. That's just how it is. They're humans too. And so this idea that, oh, Johnny's just like, give me a break. If any mother ever says words like that to me, I'm like, I will lean in. I'll be like, you're full of crap. Tell me what you really think. Because if I can't say to you, Shika, I'm going to slap Sydney upside her head because she's driving me nuts, I'm not real. That's toxic positivity. If something happens in my business and I feel upset about it and I just go, well, the universe meant for it to happen, sure, but I can still have a human feeling about it, and I need to feel and process the emotions around it. And so I really, like, it really bothers me, and that's why the whole move, I've been very vocal about, full transparency. That's my favorite saying, is full transparency. I feel like shit right now. Full transparency. I'm a bit depressed right now, or I'm feeling numb right now, or I'm feeling anxious right now because I'm in a place by myself and the kid, Amelia's with her dad and it's just me and the dogs. It's like, it's so detrimental to feminine divine if we are not allowed to feel our emotions and we just have to skip over them and pretend everything's always positive. It's not. Acknowledge it, work through it, and then, because here's the reality of the whole thing. It's like, if women don't learn how to manage and work through a lot of the things that they just toxic positivity spin on it, they become ugly, unhappy, really ill women, and they can't fix things. They can't get into their hearts. That's the woman who doesn't experience the emotion and who doesn't go through it. She goes right into hunter mode, and that's where she stays. Right. And then she can't connect with other women. She can't connect with her kids. She can't connect with her husband because she's busy. She's clouded everything up. So I think it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous to always be this like Susie happy, whatever, because it's just not it's not reality, especially right now. Like,
What?
it's been 2 years of this shit in the pandemic, right? Like, I can't even, like, I had a conversation with my doctor and I said, like, I don't want any medication because I just don't, like, that's my personal preference. But I can tell you, I feel really bad. I'm really upset. I feel really low a lot of the time because I just look around and I think, oh my God, and if I can't say that and not be shamed about it, there's a problem. Like,
Yes.
I can't
Yes.
say, oh, it's so great to have this 2 years of this pandemic so I can focus. No, it sucks. It's bullshit. It doesn't feel good. I'm not putting
And
a silver lining on it anymore.
done with it as well, keeping kids away from school, and I am done with it as well. But what you're saying is so amazing. But this is where what I understand when you're talking about it, and I'm just trying to fuel this conversation a little there, Cara. Um, you know, because you've already had so much self work done.
Hmm?
You know, uh, it's like that water that we're trying to put in, the pressure is trying to come out.
Yep.
You're okay with coming out because you've worked, you've taken the
That's it.
courage to work, let the water come out, and not try to press it and sit on it and say, no, it's not going to come out. Nah, 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 it's not happening. But most of us are at that point there
Mhm.
that we don't even know we need the self work. Right? A lot of our
Yep.
mothers don't even know we need self work. And this whole positivity, if we are not, are considered a very we're judged about it. If we don't talk about it, we are like if we don't, if we can say that it's crazy and it's madness and this is not what I signed up for. Even if you say something like that, my God,
Mm.
we go even in a deeper depression saying
Yeah.
that, feeling released about it, because the self work is lacking, like
Hmm.
understanding and being reality to us. So I feel that we all need people like you who are saying it very clearly that um, it is toxic. But for the
Yep.
acceptance level, for people who have just not even acknowledged as a problem, it'll take a long time to even appreciate what you're saying, to
Right.
appreciate
Yep.
what Cara is saying, and that's why I feel that some ladder needs to come in even before that conversation or that podcast, to rise them up before we talk about. I personally feel that, because there's
Yeah.
zero grounds as well. And I appreciate it because I worked with you and I know what you're talking about. I
Right.
understand it. Maybe uh 5 years back, 4 years back, I would be just like, what's Cara talking about?
But I don't think that you would even, I think that the people, the women who are propagating it are coaches. So they know better.
Yes.
I don't think it's you 5 years ago. You 5 years ago would have just been like, I feel like garbage and I don't know why. I'm really speaking to the coaching industry who says, Shika, you shouldn't feel this way. She knows better because she feels this way. Right. So it's like that's who I'm really calling to and calling out are the coaches that are the ones that are propagating this positivity at all costs.
I
They
agree.
know better, and that's what so I think I get what you're saying, but it's I'm not even talking to the women who, because you wouldn't be toxic positive yet. It's the coaches and the women who have done the self work who are the toxic positive, and they're spreading that around. So then somebody like me 5 years ago will see somebody like me now and be like, well, I don't feel that good. Why does she feel that good? She's lying. That's why. She's full of shit. So it's like, we women who are in this zone of coaches and we've done all the self work and spent all the money, our responsibility is to say, listen, Shika, it isn't like this all the time. I can tell you I have days like this and this. Don't believe what everybody else is telling you. And you know me, I'm telling you, I feel depressed, I feel anxious, I feel pissed off, I feel sad, I feel happy, and I feel all the other things, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. And I needed to leave that marriage. So it's a really, yes, I did need to leave that marriage. But guess what? That was the love of my life. I never wanted to leave that marriage. It didn't work. I had to leave it. That was the love of my life. And guess how much that hurts? A lot. And I'm going to
Yes.
let people see it. When I lost my baby, when my son died, when I had him too early, it was meant to happen. God needed him. Shut up. God didn't need him. I needed him. And I feel like shit about it. And I'm not going to let you tell me that it's all good because it's positive. I'm going to feel what I feel. I'm going to feel like I died. I'm going to feel like a part of me died. And then I'm going to go on with my life. But this idea where these coaches and these women are spreading this nonsense that any negative feeling is the worst thing possible is what's keeping women in their masculine. That is it right there. Because if I tell you what you're feeling is wrong, or I tell you, then what are you going to do? You just said it. You're going to clam up. You're going to put the lid back on the pot, and you're going to keep that inside you. And eventually it's going to burst, and you will, get sick and all the other things. So I'm passionate about it because, again, me, I'm all about, let's be honest. Like, let's be honest.
I love that. And I purposely asked you because more has to come about it, Cara. And you've always been like, I don't know why you feel now you are talking about it, but you've always been very honest about the feeling. Since I know you. I mean, since I know you, what attracted to me, in fact, it's very crazy that people think that you need to be a certain way and then you get clients and then you get people.
Right.
When I found you, you were in that hotel when you were done with, taking care of the kids, and you just wanted to break, and then you went to the hotel in this tied up bun, not the Cara with this all hair and everything done. This Cara sitting and she's like, I'm totally sick of it and money. And I'm like, she is definitely the person I want to talk to, right? And that was like that's the. I so remember you sitting and talking about money mindset, and then you spoke to them because you were honest about it. You were honest about it, and I want to reach out to you because you were honest about it.
Yeah.
So that's all the myths that we're trying to break here. And even with this book, that's what I'm trying to say. Just be honest, whatever your story is. And there are moms who have spoken their stories for the first time and released it here. Finding this a safe place, and then they will have people like you who will get up and say, okay, enough, like we've celebrated it and all that, it's good, now let's do the next work. And it's unbelievable that like you can see my story unfold. I can see yours unfolding in a great way, Cara, as well. And like you are starting this whole thing that let's sit down and talk about it. Let's sit down and let's just, because I know that when I go here and there and you're like, hold on, like that's how Cara talks. If people, whenever they're going to say replay, because this time usually everybody's sleeping and getting up and everything, they all say, hold on, just stay there with that emotion. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you're saying. And it's worked very well. And we need people like you to talk about it, Cara. And I support you totally. I totally support what you're doing. And yes, however you're feeling, but I must confess that I also feel that you're closest to the mother pulse than most of us right now here. And if you can feel that mother pulse and acknowledge it, and the nurturer that you're talking about, and the oneness that you said, and the fact that you got it very easily, that I said I will pick up the book and leave, and you were like you've given me, so I'm a visual person, so I was like, what am I, like, this first thing happened to me by the time the 25 moms happened, that I've exited the community. That's the visual I was getting. And I'm like, why am I getting this visual of exiting? Am I giving up? Am I doing what? But no, I was still forming it, but I exited and I went on a drone mode at that time. And from there, I also saw the book coming out. So I'm like, I'm picking the book out and then I'm taking it away. And now that you've given me a new visual saying that you're making the way and you're telling the sister, this is a safe way to come, that's my job. And I honestly, I'm promising everybody who's there, I will do my best. This time I'm not turning back. I always never believed into my superpower, what I was meant to do, but I was meant to do this long time back. I've already waited too many years. I will not wait. I will keep moving forward and making the path, because what's happened recently, all these things come. I was in a small road. I thought this looks interesting. Let's take people here, and suddenly it's open to a big landscape. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I need to. This is what I need to do, and I'm ahead in that, so I can see it. And I'm looking back, and I'm like, yeah, you keep creating the book, because you don't know what I need to create, what ropes I need to put, because where are you going to all be thrown into this big landscape that's opening ahead? And I can see it. I can see it opening. I can see the tears. I can see the connection. I can see people, even if they don't say it, the pulse is actually pulsating and feeling a little bit of tingling happening, that it's not getting dead. It's not going to go dead.
No, I can feel it strongly. Yes. Like I can feel it strongly. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Cara. So what's Cara's dream is what we're going to end with. this interview.
My dream is everybody in their heart. That's it. Everybody
What a
operating from here. And I know that in my soul, and I say this all the time, people in their hearts don't fly airplanes into buildings. People in their hearts don't sell children for slavery. They don't put their knee on a man's neck until he dies. People in their hearts don't do those things. And I firmly believe it is our responsibility as women to get into our hearts first so we can teach the rest of them. And that's my dream. And I feel like, you know, sometimes I get caught up in my own ego thinking, like, really, you really think you're going to change the world by teaching women how to get into their hearts? I do, because like you are prime perfect example. I taught you about head to heart. You got in your heart, and now look at what you're doing in the world. So that's it. That's my dream, is just every woman I touch in this way. So then they go and they do the same thing. And eventually we will have more heart-centered people than we have head-centered people. And I just want to change the world. Like, that's the dream. That's the dream. So, and I'm happy to be doing it alongside of you, because you're a force and it's beautiful to witness. And I feel so lucky that I get to do it alongside of you. So thank you for that.
The feeling is mutual, and I don't know how to thank you enough, because honestly, I was pretty lost by the time I reached you. And after, like, I've met many people, and I give credit to each one of them. I'm not taking away any coaches I've met, the credit away from them. Everyone is contributing, but whatever they've taught me, I'm using them now. I'm like, oh, what I learned last June is now going to come. Like, but I didn't know how to use it. The tools after tools after tools after tools were given to me, and I was just like, what do I do with them?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? I don't even know where I need to take them, and what do I need to do? I was full of tools. And then the message emerged by working with you, and the fact that it's okay to be in your feminine and work from there. So that and has aligned me. And now, whatever tool I have, I'm glad I invested in the tools, because those tools are going to take me ahead so much faster, because now, you know, the heart is opened up, the message has come. I will just take the tools that I spend time in. So it's not a wastage, but the tools are going to just take me faster.
That's
and
it.
The rope faster, and it's going to go ahead.
That's perfect. Like, that's literally what I say. It's like, I know the tools, and it wasn't until I got into my heart that it started to make sense to me. We all know click funnels. We all know, like, there's no shortage of business mechanics, but it's like, if you're not connected to source and you're not connected to your heart, those tools will sit there on the deck and you won't touch them. And that is why 100% of the time why a woman fails at business. It's not because she doesn't know how to do a click funnel. It does not because she doesn't know how to get a site built. It's because she's not connected yet. And that is the mission. Like, really, truly, at its core, if I can teach the woman how to go from here to here, open her up, then all the tools out there, boom, like, look at, you take it and you start using the hammer and you start using the nails and everything starts to happen. But it doesn't happen before that, because you're fighting with what's in here. So I love that you've said all of that's beautiful.
And I also think the same thing is happening to mothers, and mothers are losing all the connection, and totally lost. And it's a very ironic thing. I don't know how to get your statement together. On one side, you're saying it's toxic positivity. On the other side, the mother has to, I don't know you'll have to put it together for me. This mother who needs to work on herself and acknowledge everything and become a feminine. But at the same time, when you become a feminine, do not keep saying that, oh, this is beautiful or this is this thing, because that's the mistaking part. They think that all the compliments is femininity, all the, so there is a lot of, and I think your book will bridge that thing that you're trying to get, that what is femininity? Like, what is a feminine energy? And it is more powerful than what we think we are in.
It is. And
And
I understand, like, how do we balance, right? How do we balance with not being overly floofy and too feminine energy? But feminine energy doesn't mean you don't acknowledge the bad stuff. It just means you go through it with grace. You're not fighting it. You're in flow of it. That's how I view it. So it's like I can still be my feminine energy and still, so for me, if something's upsetting me, I could put my big girl pants on and just get through it, or I can sit in it and be like, I'm sad right now, because that's feminine energy too. Emotion is feminine energy. Um, I think just bridging that gap is really the acknowledgement of the feeling, letting it flow through us, feel it physically, get it out of your body. I talk a lot about breath work and a lot about moving your body and all those things. And when you're sad, let it be. When you're upset, feminine energy doesn't mean you can't be angry. It just means that you let yourself be angry. You let it go through you and then it moves. But masculine is like, I'm not angry. I got this, right? Feminine energy allows for the emotion, any emotion, and then you work through it and you let it flow like a river right through you. But so that's how.
thanks, Cara. I
Thank
can go on
you.
and on. I can go on and on and talking to you, and I'm glad that you know what's the pulse I'm talking about, from the bee to that. I just see it. I just see this bee. I see the deer. I see the tiger. I see the bird. I see the human mom. I'm like, oh my God, there's so much work to be done, and
You know
we
what
need to
I
fix.
see? I see an event with you and I and other women on stages together doing this. As soon as you were saying it, I see it, like, yeah, I see an event where, like a summit, like a proper summit. And I've said this for a number of years now. It's a boys club, the personal development space. It's still predominantly, and I love them, don't get me wrong, but we need to stand up collectively as a group of women. And I really have talked about this. It's been on my vision board to have a summit, an event where there are 5 or 6 or 15 women. We all can do our talks, but we get together and we connect to the pulse. And as you're talking, I'm seeing the whole thing, and I'm seeing the
I,
whole thing.
I know, and then that's why I'm talking when we are talking, because I can talk to you, because most of the people, when I talk to them, they're shaking their heads, but they also don't know what I'm talking about yet. And the 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 hitting part for me was when I said it's an ancient pulse, and
Mhm.
I'm like, what? Am I part of that ancient pulse in this
Yeah,
modern time today? Wow.
it's sacred.
Yeah, it's sacred. It's sacred. That's the word. It's sacred. And what have we done? And so many generations and millions of years down, now it's telling me or choosing me to say, you need to do it. Speak
Yeah,
up, express, and start the process. And it was just a book, and it's not going to be just a book
no,
that I. It's not going to be
no,
just a book. So
nope.
I don't know what all will come. There's so many people who are sending hearts and likes and some. Please show up and comment, because hearts and likes and things is great. But Kara deserves lots of comments, and I will make sure I tag each one of you. And after this interview gets over, Kara, lots of love.
Love to you too, sister.
And we're waiting for your teachings and your book. And I would be the first one to jump on to buy and see what you're writing, because I know that something is cooking up, and
You'll
it's going to be.
probably be in it, so just be aware, because I've got a bit of a plan for how it's going to go. So
I
don't
love
you
your smile.
worry.
I love your smile, and that's
Thank
that's
you.
also the mother in you, Gara. That's the mother in you, and thanks for being that mother. And I know what I know that you know what I'm talking about, and we will meet just in few months' time. I'm going to be celebrating that. That I'm definitely declaring today with you, that because I can't sleep, I can't sleep, and the messages come, and I can't sleep, and I'm like, how do I sleep? How do what's happening? And it's unfolding, and uh, uh, there's a tinkle happening. So
Yep.
yes, so give me two
Awesome.
months. Everybody. I
Yep.
think 2 months is what I need more to get there. So I will, no matter what happens, keep showing up, keep moving ahead, keep making the way. And meanwhile, all the moms should make sure that they all are ready with their backpacks to jump from the
Mm.
landscape and creating.
Yep.
And be ready there. A lot of them don't know what's happening.
Oh,
don't
they
know
will.
Cara.
They will.
Yes. But a lot of them don't know
We'll
yet.
teach them. We'll teach
I
them.
will teach them. Thank you for being part of the teaching part,
Yep.
Cara. So I will go off live, and we shall. And in spite of the thunder, this was meant to be today. You know, Cara, why it didn't happen at that time with you and me? Because this pulse was supposed to be discussed with you and me here. That's why it didn't happen with you. Yes, that's why it didn't happen. But we didn't give up. We still went somewhere. Say something. Yeah, take care. Bye, everybody.